You're listening to DraftKings Network.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become?
Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Having choices is good, and checking accounts are no exception. At Sandy Spring Bank, we have a variety of checking options and make it easy to choose based on your needs. Mobile deposits and payments, interest checking, or checking with no fees or minimums. Best of all, we'll help you select the account that suits your life. What's your next financial destination? Sandy Spring Bank. Visit sandyspringbank.com/checking. Member FDIC.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
I want to talk to Roy in a second about what can be a pretty fun hockey game tonight. But before I do that, we have one of the great things in sports media, I've lost all respect for you off, where Draymond Green has lost respect for Stephen A. Smith, and now Stephen A. Smith has lost respect for Draymond Green. Draymond Green appeared on the big podcast with Shaq, and I legitimately don't know what Draymond Green has lost respect for Stephen A. Smith for. Does anyone here know why it is that no is the answer? Based on all the faces I'm looking at, no is the answer.
So Draymond Green went on Shaq's podcast, and Draymond seemed to be upset at the fact that Stephen A., he says that he knows Stephen A. as a person, and him and Stephen A. are cool off air, and Stephen A. is this good guy and all this stuff. But he didn't like the way that Stephen A. spoke about him on one of his recent suspensions back in December. And he was accusing Stephen A. almost of being fake, it felt like, because he was saying that, you know, he's this good guy off the air, and then when it comes time to being on the air, he gives these takes, and it's not the way he kind of talks to me or about me when we're speaking in person. So he didn't like that Stephen A. wasn't defending him after one of his recent suspensions. And then Stephen A. took offense to that characterization, and you'll probably hear in this clip, because he was saying, that's not what I said, that's not how it happened. And then even went so far as to play back the clip of him talking himself and what he said on First Take.
All right, but is it a lost all respect situation, or lost some respect, lost a fraction of respect?
Let's not ruin the video.
Let's find out together.
Draymond Green just went on a national podcast with Shaquille O'Neal, my brother, and said that he lost respect for me. Well, I've now lost respect for him.
Wow. There it is.
I love this brother.
Wait a
I got
minute.
mad love for Draymond.
Wait a minute.
I have an abundance of receipts where I can show you, and Molly, you can be a testament to this.
Okay.
How many times have I spoken up for Draymond Green? It's been countless times. This man has been ejected from games 20 times in his career. Only Rasheed Wallace, another brother of mine, has been ejected for more games in his NBA career. When you had people talking about anger management, talking about he needs help, talking about all these things, I was the one that said, yo, that's going too damn far. I was the one that had a problem with Kevin Durant saying, quote, I hope he gets the help he needs. I said, that's a brother, that's another teammate. You know he's a black man. You know what that connotates. How are you going to say something like that? We're on First Take. We have about 12 to 15 segments a day. about 70, 75 takes a week.
Yeah.
I give over 3,000 takes a year on this show alone. I've given over 40,000 takes throughout my career. You would think I'm not going to make everybody happy with every single syllable that comes out of my mouth, but I pride myself on being fair.
That is tremendous. I didn't hear Molly be a testament to anything there. She said yes and made some
It was
sort of sound.
It was a lot longer. It was like a nice 4-minute thing. I also heard, by the way, we don't have it because I didn't think this would come up, but I heard a clip of Skip where it was like his podcast and they're like writing in, like asking Skip questions and like, Skip, do you miss your mom that passed away? And he starts with, I don't. And then he goes on this long thing like eulogizing his mom that passed away, I think in 2017, and he goes, you know what? Maybe I do miss her a little.
I thought listening to that clip, I did see that clip, and I think they have that clip. It just made me both sad and explained how Skip Bayless became what Skip Bayless became because he was articulating that his mom didn't treat him correctly and didn't give him something that felt like love. And so he's saying on his podcast, he's using his mother and a flawed relationship with his mother to try and get the podcast clicks you get that rescue your career at the end. Listen to this.
I was the oldest, and I was never, ever close to my mother because she really wasn't capable of being close to anyone, even to her 3 children, especially to her 3 children. So last Saturday, when Ernestine asked me that question, I thought for a moment, and I answered painfully, honestly, no, I don't miss my mother. I mean, how do you miss someone who never loved you, never told you or showed you one time as you were growing up that she cared at all about you?
Mommy talk.
That bummed me out, though. It did. It's heartbreaking.
It comes around at the end. He's like, maybe. But
yeah, I didn't hear the part where he says, yeah, maybe I missed her. I just hear the sad stuff, but it does explain why it is to me that he's chased LeBron James around criticizing him for 20 years.
Is that the most honest and most vulnerable we've ever seen Skip Bayless? Has he ever been vulnerable in a way like that?
I have not seen that before. I have not felt sad for the circus performer who goes out there and makes a career out of, hating on athletes.
Anytime the Cowboys lose, he's very emotional, like cries into the camera on social media. I feel like that's a pretty vulnerable point for him.
He's thrown away a jersey about 7 times.
And his microwave is low.
One.
Remember, he's got a low microwave?
Yeah.
You guys know his brother is like a famous chef?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rick Bayless?
Yeah, Rick
Frontera
Bayless.
Grill. It's like one of the best places to eat in O'Hare.
Do you
It is an actual restaurant also in the city.
But that's like...
But O'Hare is lacking food. O'Hare needs to get its shit together, respectfully.
What? It has like 17 McDonald's. What more could you want?
It needs help. It needs a lot. It needs more Frontera grills.
I hate that airport. Hate it.
I used to really like it, and now, man, it's
the worst.
It's a struggle.
It is the worst.
It is a
airport in
struggle
America.
getting through there, man. O'Hare.
Put it on
Get
the
your shit
poll
together.
at Le Batard Show. Does O'Hare need to get its shit together respectfully?
I'll fly into f***ing Midway. All right? I'm sick of O'Hare.
But if you fly into Midway, then you won't see those 8 billion billboards with
Brian
Urlacher
Urlacher
with hair.
Yeah.
Bayless, do you guys find anything amusing about the fact that Skip Bayless has a brother who is a world-renowned gourmet chef, but he eats exactly the same thing every day and it's just chicken and broccoli. His life is maniacal exercise, chicken and broccoli, and what are the sports takes I have to make tomorrow to hate everybody?
They don't get along, by the way. That's what I heard. Rick and Skip Bayless, they're not cool. Maybe it's because of their mom.
I mean, that clip, I wanted to laugh at it.
Sad. Give it up for people with mommy issues. Relatable content, not going to lie.
Mommy talk.
I don't know what you guys are what you guys are applauding there.
Mommy issues, yeah.
Okay, applauding the mommy issues?
No, I mean,
We all got 'em.
people that have them. Join the club. It's tough.
Rick
It's
looks
tough
like
out
he's
here.
in better shape, by the way. Just throw that out there.
Since the dawn of mankind, we've cooked our food over an open flame and debated the best way to grill. One thing not up for debate, grilling and beer always go together. And not just any beer will do. Whether you barbecue Texas style or celebrate Wednesday with burgers and dogs, you need a beer that tastes great and is less filling, so you have more room for food. You need Miller Lite. As you guys may or may not know, I'm a pretty decent cook, especially behind the barbecue. So when I start the fire from my smoker on a hot day, really, the only thing that I have to worry about is what wood I'm going to use. The easiest decision for me is what I'll be drinking. That's a nice ice cold can of Miller Lite. Oh, and by the way, here's a pro tip. It really goes well with brisket. Miller Lite keeps it simple, undebatable quality, and tastes as great as your barbecue. A perfect companion for grill masters across America. With the Miller Lite in hand, grilling doesn't just taste great, it tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right at your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
He seems like a not nice guy, and he's always been a not nice guy. I don't care for him, and I hope he has the day he deserves.
Oh,
wow. Stugotz.
I hope he has the day he deserves.
That's how I get people when they're really mean to me. I'm not like, go F yourself. I'm like, I hope you have the day you deserve.
It's a great kind insult. Yes.
It's beautiful.
It's leaving it to the cosmos to sort it out.
That's a less southern, bless your heart.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
We had to get Dan the fuck up out of here, man.
Come on, man.
We did. I had to deliver that with that sort of phrase because he was bringing the vibes down. We're having fun. We're talking about dick filler. We're giving asterisks. And then here he comes with the grief. He wants to talk about Skip Bayless's mom. I'm not here for that.
And Pat Sajak.
And Pat Sajak and his questionable friendships.
What are you here for?
I'm here for fun, man.
Huh.
I want to start with my good friend Lucy.
Oh, good friends?
Yes.
I didn't know we were at that level.
We were good friends. Me, you, Charles Barkley. That's how it works.
So is she good friends with Charles Barkley too?
By the transitive properties. Next time you see Charles, be like, hey, my good friend.
Lucy, what do you classify as like a friend? Like, because you said that you didn't know that you and Amin were good friends, but
No.
Amin thinks that you are good friends.
I thought we were friends, but
Okay.
I didn't know we were good friends. But now that I've heard that, I have the validation, and I agree.
Even though I met Lucy through the Dan Le Batard Show, I know Lucy through prior to being part of the Dan Le Batard Show.
Wow.
We have a mutual.
Mutuals.
Charles
And can we salute Lucy right now for making this list? The sports media stars
Yeah.
for 2024. Oh my God.
What?
That's my sister.
And you're on the Big Game Boomer list of top 30 college football persons. It's
Number
a big,
24.
Big
Come on,
year
man.
for Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy, you're not just my friend. You my
Thank
sister.
you. I was honored to
blood.
be on the list, and I'm still honored to be on the list. But they listed like Bill Belichick and Nick Saban as like rising
There you go.
stars.
Yeah.
And I said, oh,
Were they
I
on
don't
Big
know if they-
Boomers list too?
They were not.
Well, there you go.
To be fair,
More
they are
credible
rising
list.
stars. They're finna take that media turn into commentary, so they're rising, but not as fast as my sister.
And
though.
to be fair, also, you're on a list with Nick Saban and Bill Belichick for being the best at something.
No, Billy. They're on a list with her.
Yeah.
Boom.
Lucy, you said something earlier today when we were mobbing out there in the sitting room that perked my ears because it is something I feel very passionate about, which is when you get in an Uber and the Uber driver asks you, what do you do for a living? Your answer is?
I lie every single time.
There you go. That's my sister. That's my sister.
If you go into an Uber driver and you're like, I work for the Dan Le Batard Show, 1,000,010 questions. They want to ask me about Poppy. I don't know Poppy, so I really can't like give an answer there. They want to know who's on the show and wow, why did they leave SBN? Blah 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 blah. I am not in the mood for that conversation. So when they ask me, what do you do, Lucy? And I would lie about my name if my Uber driver app didn't already connect with my actual name. Usually when I lie to people about my name, I say my name's Julia. I think I can pass for Julia.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it works. I always say I'm a 4th grade teacher, and it's a really tough job, but it is so rewarding.
Bang.
And that's how they know you're lying.
No, that's
Just kidding.
That's the little spice of nuance you need to give it texture. Because I, for a long time now, have had 3 different professions that I go with.
Yeah.
depending on how I'm feeling that day. The first one, which is the first one I came up with, was I'm a regional sales director for the Tonka Toy Truck Company.
That is awesome.
The Southwest region, which is Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah, not California, that's its own region.
Pacific.
What about Nevada?
Wow.
Oh, and Nevada too, yes.
Oh, okay, thank God.
Yeah.
My Uber name is Raul.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't know who the hell I am. I be lying. Like you said, they be like, so what are you down in Miami for? I'm just out here visiting, man. I would never give them that because like you said, I don't know what Poppy up to, who am I, you know?
I usually lie about the city I'm from, too, because I'm not normally taking a ton of Ubers in Miami. And the way I get away with it is I just choose a city I've been to, and then when they start asking me questions about the city, I say, I just moved there from Iowa. I'm just a small town girl, so I don't really know the city very well, but I'm excited to learn.
Living in a lonely world.
I was in an elevator on a cruise recently, and I was wearing an ESPN LA hat, and I had a lovely person ask me if I worked there. And if you want the rest of the story, you have to listen to God Bless Football, because that's how I met someone that changed the world.
Changed the world.
Changed the world.
Wow.
Or just look on Twitter,
I wanted
Instagram,
to hear
because
the story.
I'm gonna put it out later.
Story.
Okay.
You guys changed the world. You don't realize we changed the world.
We
Dan
did?
Batard Show was the first
In a good way?
gambling company that did a media deal or a content deal with
damn right.
DraftKings. And now look at the world. We changed the world, bro. So salute, hats off to us.
Yeah,
Come
so
on,
there we go.
you know
Round of
what I mean?
applause.
Your hat's still on, though.
I ain't get on lineup.
There you go. Roy did it. I also
Jeff
like to
Spade
say,
Roy got the at-home lineup.
Roy,
don't do my boy like that, bro. Come on.
Roy, would you ever throw your hat on the ice for a hat trick?
No.
Yeah, you strike me as someone that would want to keep your hat.
Would you bring a separate hat?
No. No, that's not my thing. I'm sorry. I like my hats.
Roy, Panthers game 2 is tonight.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes, the Panthers. Yes, the Panthers played the best game of the playoffs on Wednesday. So yeah, but I expect the Rangers to bring the best. But if they could shut them down like they did on Wednesday, I mean, series is a wrap.
Yes, if you don't allow them to score any goals, the series is a wrap.
I'm
They
just talking
can't
about.
win a
I'm
game
not
when they
even
don't
talking.
score.
I'm not even talking about. I'm not even talking about
Stand on
goaltending.
head,
I'm talking about defensively. They limit their shots like they did on Wednesday. Then that's it.
Was that an aberration, or was that basically was that the equivalent of the Timberwolves clamping down on the Nuggets in Game 7 defensively?
I wouldn't say it's an aberration. They did it all during the second round against the Bruins. They did it against the first round against the Lightning. So that's part of the game. The forechecking is shut them down in the offensive zone. It's very hard to exit the zone, the defensive zone for the Rangers. So yeah, that's their game. That's the Panthers' game doing the forechecking there.
Forecheck. That's the
You
word.
see what I'm saying?
You said foresling.
I put that forecheck, foresling. I'm from the ghetto, man. We don't know all them fours.
Well, we'll get you to
Know what
learn.
I'm
Don't
talking
worry. We'll learn.
Zone 4. The great thing about this is win or lose. This is unequivocally the greatest stretch of time in Panthers history, right? These last 3 years,
yes, they won their first ever Stanley Cup final game last season. Before then, it was 1996 was the last time they went to the Stanley Cup final. They got swept by Colorado, and they had the best season they ever had the year before, winning the President's Trophy. So yes, this is it. This is it.
You're living in the golden age.
Yeah, five straight playoff seasons for the Panthers. I mean, beforehand it was 10 total. 10 total before their entire franchise. So 5 straight playoff appearances is almost like a dream for this franchise.
So it's weird because most of the time when you talk to fans in the moment and you say, yo, this is it, but y'all ain't never going to win a championship. Damn. They don't think of this as a great stretch. It feels like a disappointment, I feel like, the fans. I know for the Celtics it's different, but I talked to Charlotte about this a lot. It's when you think about the last 7 years, it's been fucking amazing, for the Celtics, right? It's if you look at that.
Given their history.
Given their history, but also given that most of the people who are watching it and are fans, they don't remember the 80s, and they definitely don't remember, unless you're Bob Ryan, you don't remember Bill Russell and stuff. So you got a little bit of KG and Paul Pierce in your memory banks. This is without a championship, it's a pretty good run. But they all look at it as man, what a bunch of bums. They couldn't get the job done. So I'm wondering whether for Florida, is that because there's no history or track record of success, do people appreciate this even without a championship.
I would hope so.
In the moment.
I mean, I don't believe that this generation of fans remember Bill Lindsay or Johan Garpenlov or Brian Scrutlin from the '96 team.
No, who could forget?
So
they appreciate it about as much as Roy. Look at his face. If he don't show no happiness, that's the poster of South Florida hockey right there.
Yeah, I mean, this is
That's why they need you to turn up, bro. Like, this is exciting, bro. I'm more excited about the Panthers than you feel like.
Yeah.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, Roy, but if they do win the Stanley Cup, your name should be engraved on it.
No. Well, let's be real. Roy, you should be on a float.
Oh, that's the plan. That is absolutely the plan.
Well,
get on the float.
What?
Hold on.
Who's got that plan?
Hold on a second.
I had that plan.
Hold on a second. Roy likes to fancy himself a journalist who's impartial when it comes to hockey and the Panthers. So you do not belong on that float. You need to turn that invitation down as an impartial journalist.
Here's the thing. I'm going to be on that float interviewing players.
Yeah,
no.
he's going to be working
as guys of journalism.
That's
you can't
true.
be part of
I'm going to be
journalist.
filming it
No.
for you.
No.
Yeah, thank
Hold
you.
on a second.
Leonardo
Sorry,
DiCaprio, Inception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if this is a dream?
I was actually hoping that we started this segment with, Dan was never here. You guys dreamt that. None of that was real.
Never happened.
You know what
like
I
Rocky
did not
V.
dream last night?
What's that?
The Chicago Sky took down
Wow.
the New York Liberty.
Liberty
Angel
Bibberty.
Reese had 13.
They literally
9.
tweeted Liberty Bibberty.
Come on, man. These young ladies are coming in the league making noise against Stewie. Everybody played.
Yes, Juju, it was a really good game, and it was Liberty's first loss of the season. And the Sky are playing already so much better, and they don't even have Camila Cardoso yet, who's going to make a huge impact when she comes back.
Why hasn't she played?
She has a shoulder injury,
Got
but
it.
she should be back in like a couple weeks. Like she's starting to practice again, I think. So hopefully she'll be back soon. They keep saying she's a quick healer, which I want to know the science behind what that means.
All right.
So did you dream this or did this actually happen?
No, this happened.
Oh, okay. No, because you said you dreamed it.
The
That's
dream
why.
played on Tuesday.
Yeah, I spent the top and it fell over. So
Oh,
it
gotcha.
was-
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
That means it's
man.
real.
Oh,
That
that's
means it's
bad.
real.
Juju, how cool is it though for Teaspoon to get a win?
Right
in New York.
She went back in New York and got that dub. She trolled out like Dunn last night. She was like, "Yeah, good game, ladies." I already know that locker room was turned. Salute to Teaspoon.
Exactly.
It's her first year, right?
Yeah. This is maybe like too navel gazing of myself, but there's 3 Notre Dame players.
That's how
on
navel
the Sky.
gazing works, by the way.
But this might be extreme. And I've heard people call this guy the Skyrish.
Okay.
If anyone out there is a graphic
Angel
designer and can make a Skyrish logo and put it on a shirt, I will pay you money, real hard cash.
Juju?
Challenge accepted.
Why do we navel gaze? Like, what's the meaning behind navel
Because
gaze?
it's like
Think about it.
you're such a narcissist. You're like, look at my
You're
belly
staring at
button.
yourself.
Oh my god.
Right.
staring at your navel, so like your navel area.
well,
It's
yeah,
the most
yeah.
inner you.
You're gazing at it. someone said.
Gazing at it.
Yeah.
Gazing at my
Yeah.
my belly
Navel.
button, basically.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of what's in the sight line. as
Oh,
you're
gotcha.
gazing
Fillers,
at your navel.
Right. It's all you, basically.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end,
What will I become? Senwa Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Dan Lebatard.
Amino Hassan.
Stugotz.
Amino acid.
This is the Dan Lebatard Show with the Stugotz.
What are your other 2 fake Uber jobs?
There's one where I say I am administrator at a hospital at HR. I help the nurses who have RNs get BSNs, and if they have a BSN, I encourage them to get MSNs. You get one in nursing education, nursing practice, or you could do, what's the other one? Basically, I just do hospital talk, and as you could tell, it's like no one wants to hear hospital talk, so that usually kills all conversation very quickly.
That is so good. You give just enough detail where it's so believable, but it's the perfect boring job.
Exactly, like the amount of detail where it's believable, and also I don't want to hear this anymore. Right? Like as I'm talking, I'll talk about, I help the nurses get the RNs if they have their BSNs. If they don't, then I help them get the MS. Like I talk like that and they're like, you know what? We got it, buddy.
Do you ever like go off the rails with it? Like sometimes if I'm really feeling it, I had an Uber driver that just was like kind of being like a dick. Like he was just saying like stuff that I was like really out of pocket. So I just kept extensively lying more and more and more. And I was telling him about my twin brother and how we just got separated for the first time and how distraught I've been since then. Rose was in the car for this and she could not hold it together. I was like, girl, you really got to be tougher.
Yeah. Rose poker face is non-existent.
Does not exist.
Number 2, see, Lucy, now this is where we diverge because my mission in the Uber is to not talk. So what I'm trying to do is to kill any part of the conversation. It's not even, hey, where do you work? I don't want them to ask me about Poppy, which happens all the time as well. I don't want you to ask me about anything. I want you to be like, it's the most boring person I've ever had in my car.
Look, Stephen Colbert on YouTube says, what happens when someone asks you to save their sister or like help?
Yeah.
You're the doctor.
What do you do?
Oh, no, I'm not a doctor.
No, he's an administrator.
I'm an administrator. I'm an HR.
Colbert asked us that?
Yeah, he online. Look, Colbert, not Colbert. It's Stephen Colbert. So look.
Colbert. The third job, Billy.
I try to flip it on the driver, and I ask them a bunch of questions.
No, that's still talking, though. I don't want to talk.
I'm fine talking to people.
That tracks for you.
Ask them. I learn a lot about people.
What do you ask?
Well, I mean, one time, I think, Tony, you were in the Uber, right, when we were in South by Southwest, and the guy was just telling us about all the guns he had, and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no,
right.
that guy was like ex-military, though, so he was like a PI, and I think he gave us a card, didn't he? He's like, hey, if you ever need some private investigating, like, I got you. And we were like, oh, okay, cool.
Really?
I think Billy
that is interesting. I wouldn't mind that one if that's what's happening.
He's like, I got the Glock 9 in the car, but I mean, if you really want, the arsenal's at the house. I carry a knife with me too, and we were like, oh shit.
Do you remember? I don't think it made air, and I'm going to be as vague about this as possible because I don't want to put anyone's business out there.
Oh no.
But do you remember the Guayabera store guy? Like what I was asking him to show me in the back of the store. I love talking to people.
What do you have a pretty big gun?
Had a couple.
Well, you know, like, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, don't rob that
Big
store.
Draco.
You're like, I like that gun. You knew I liked that gun.
Don't rob that store.
You know who else likes talking to people? Anthony Edwards. And they got a big game tonight. Do you think that they can bounce back and pull even tonight, or do you think that the Mavs have their number? Because
no.
In my opinion, go ahead. Yeah,
no numbers. This is a really tight series. This is going to get tied up tonight. And here's why, man. Because a lot of people are looking at it like, what happened? I said, well, number one, there is an emotional toll to going 7 games, let alone going 7 games and winning Game 7 on the road, let alone going 7 games, winning Game 7 on the road after you were down more, like the biggest comeback basically in the history of a Game 7, and also at altitude, and also they're the defending champs. Right? They pulled that one. So it's hard, even though it's 2 days in between, it's hard to kind of recalibrate for a new series. Mm-hmm. The other part of it is Anthony Edwards. I think we're going to see some different coverages because Anthony Edwards guarded Kyrie, and Kyrie went off in the first half. In the second half, not so much, but that shit is tiring. Like people think it's a walk in the park. Like, oh, you got lit up. It's not like you got lit up. Well, all right, let me go over here and score.
Right.
That's really, really energy consuming. And so I think they're going to figure out some different coverages. He'll guard them sometimes, but not as exclusively as he did in Game 1 because, dude, like how else are you supposed to keep energy and also be the best offensive player on the other side?
Right. It's like chasing Richard Hamilton back in the day.
Is it easier for Ant to guard Luka? It's a crazy question because the thing is, Luka is not as mobile as Kyrie, right? Kyrie makes a lot of things happen. Luka feels like gets a lot of stuff above the 3-point line and then kind of just goes in.
I don't know if it's easier because
easier, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, it's different, right? Because Luka has the ball more, so now you're actively defending for more, and that takes a toll. Number 2, Luka's physical. Like people don't look at it because he's kind of doughy or whatever, but like that shit hurts, man. These aren't like love taps that he's hitting you with, and he's not just like purely crossing you up like Kyrie. He's putting his sholdder into you, so
backing you down.
Yeah,
and he's gonna get you in foul trouble too.
Yeah,
more likely to.
Because he's trying to. He's hunting for it. So I think there is, because to me there's always 2 types of exhaustion you get on defense. One of them is the one that we all know is like the physical exhaustion. I had to run around and chase him. He's crossing me up. I had to go and navigate screens. I got hit by the screen. He was posting me up. But then there's a mental exhaustion. Like I'm just tired of thinking because you can't just guard them. You have to be thinking about everything else that's happening around you, and where's the help, and where are they trying to do, and what's his exit strategy. If we trap him here, he's going to try to throw this
over
pass
under screens.
Right, and if it gets out, do I rotate? Am I in rotation? And all these things, making a defender think is, I think, the biggest thing a star offensive player can do. Like if you're in a case where like, the defender doesn't have to think. All I got to do is just guard you. There's a physical exhaustion for sure, but the lack of mental exhaustion makes it easier for them, I think. And the problem with the Mavericks is both of those guys, beyond the physical exhaustion, they make you think. Right. I got to think about what's going to happen next.
Right. Like Jason Tatum. He don't make you think, bro.
Doesn't make you think.
At all. He's like, hopefully he shoots his, fade away.
Yep.
Thank God.
Is Ant too good of a defender to not have on one of those two guys? Have him playing kind of like safety?
I'm going to say no. He's not. It's not that he's not that good of a defender. It's that they have so many other options. He doesn't need to do that.
Right.
That's why I said in spurts, in moments, like he's going off. All right, Ant, shut it down, and then we hand it back off to McDaniels or Nikhil. Yeah, like those guys. You had that's the beauty of the Timberwolves is they actually have a lot of dudes that can do that stuff. Right. You don't have to have him doing it all the time. Which is, by the way, what Michael Jordan did. Everyone talked about Michael Jordan being a great defensive player, which he was, but they put him on the easy cover because he didn't need to. He didn't need to. They had Scotty. They had other options defensively.
Kind of let him freestyle.
Yeah.
Right. Even Mike Conley can stand as a buffer until the help comes or something.
If we're talking about 23 feet out, right?
Right.
As soon as it start getting the paint, now we can collapse and peel off and do all those other things.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys see AROD? And I hate kind of saying AROD's corny, but
I mean,
AROD's kind of corny. So he has his situation with the Timberwolves where he's a minority owner, but we're not exactly sure what's going on there. He put out a video yesterday on Instagram where he says that he has this new lunch routine where he has to make a shot because he's working on his basketball. So he has to make a shot before he can go and eat. And his court has a giant Timberwolves logo in the middle of it. And he has to go and he misses a bunch of times. Then he goes and he makes a shot before he goes upstairs to eat a salad.
So this is what I'm going to say. Yes, is that corny? Absolutely. But then I thought, if you owned a team, you'd be doing corny shit like that.
If you were AROD.
That's the whole point, of having these things at your disposal is I can do this corny shit and you can't say nothing to me. Also, he's got a court in his backyard. Why does it have not even the college threes? That's a high school 3-point line. Come on,
I don't like how he said yes as soon as he hit it. That's makes it weak. You celebrate, now I can eat my salad.
I tell my kid all the time, don't celebrate making shots. You just made shots. Let's just make the shot and keep it moving.
I want him to have a villain turn. I want him to just drop the act. I want him to just be real.
He is a villain.
But he doesn't admit it. You know what I mean? I want him to just be real for a little bit and hey, how about we stop working out and we get rid of the abs and we have a little gut and how about we have a little fun and how we're not just so polished all the time? How about we just turn it off for 3 weeks?
That would make him more likable, though.
I know. That's what I want. I want a likable bad guy.
That's not a villain.
I want NWO AROD. You know what I mean? I want him to be the bad guy that everybody likes.
I want him to be the villain turn. I want is the LeBron. You got to go back to your miserable lives. I want him to
you pores.
Yeah, Oh yeah, you mad that I get to shoot Jays in my backyard and then go upstairs to eat my salad with my abs out? You mad? I want him to be like that. Not hey guys, this is my little summertime routine. I've got to get better at basketball.
I really want him to get back with J-Lo. I feel like they matched each other so perfectly.
Yeah.
And both being the worst.
I cared about them together, but didn't care about either one of them separate.
Did you see that birthday cake that she got for him that one year? When he was doing Baseball Tonight and she bought the birthday cake for him.
What was it?
It was the plainest birthday cake you ever seen. It just said happy birthday on it.
It was just white.
It didn't even say his name.
It was so bad.
It was happy birthday.
Not the only birthday cake
she
you
got
him,
it from
right?
Publix.
Hey, wow. Really off the top.
Get it?
Oh, yeah.
Because she's famous for her butt.
I thought they slept in separate rooms.
Did they?
What?
She was in that booth, remember? She just they tune into Sunday Night Baseball and J-Lo's just hanging in the back row for some reason. She's helping him prep. Do you remember those videos where she was quizzing him on the teams and she's here she is in a dry erase board. She's what do you know about the Orioles? Backup shortstop is please, guys, come on. No
there it is. That's a Publix cake.
That's it? That's real?
That's
that
a
was
Publix
for AROD, bro.
Just happy birthday. That's it. It's a white cake that says happy birthday. Not even a name. Not even candles to give us an idea how old, right?
Bruh, she brought that up to Baseball Tonight in front of Adnan, whoever the hell was up there, everybody. I'm bro, don't bring this up here.
Adnan.
That's a great name drop right there. Yo, I was going to disagree with you guys. I was like, no, I like her with Ben because I like the dichotomy of he just doesn't give a shit and she's clearly gives a shit all the time. But now you guys reminded me of all these fun stories. Like, there is something about two frauds being together. Wait, hold on. Do I need to put the sounder on?
It's fine.
She has a checkered history dating, but
I'm not even about that. Just talking about, like, the fact that there's a manufactured layer that faces the world.
Yeah, like Ben Affleck, I won't say he seems like crazy real, but he seems more authentic than she does.
He seems like he's just over,
He's
everything.
over it all.
Yeah, like
he's so done.
He
so
was
sad.
Guys, he was so into that. He was in her movie. I'm sorry. And he played a weird character in a costume. Like, he was into that shit. You cannot tell me that he was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed about her movie that she's making. No, he was like the second main character.
No, but he, like, in the documentary about the movie, actively was like, I really wish you wouldn't make this. Like, but then why would you be in it in a dumb costume? It's your wife. I feel like you just kind of gotta do it.
He sound like Dan. He come in here complaining about wearing costumes, knowing good and well you want to wear this costume, boy.
Exactly, Juju. Exactly.
No, I'm gonna fight back on this. Jessica, you asked why a man would do something that his woman asked him to do.
But like, he get that into it. It's not just like, oh yeah, I'll do it because it means a lot to her. Like, no. It wasn't like he had a little cameo as himself. He was into that shit. I'm telling you. Watch the movie.
No,
or
he was just the news
honestly.
guy. He was barely in it.
In a costume, in prosthetics. It was weird. He was doing a bit.
I can watch y'all talk about this all day. Like next,
And no one's seen this fucking movie. Mark it, Roy. I got it.
Actively, it was so funny because he was the one who, when she called it the greatest love story like ever told, he was like, "Well, or never told." He was like, "Well, you're telling it now. You're telling it." There's like an actual quote of him saying that.
See, now I'm back. Now I'm back on J-Lo and Ben Benefit.
Yeah, me too. Oh man, this is.
They're on the rocks though,
This is
allegedly.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there have been rumors. We don't know it's true or not, but there have been rumors.
But she still had the ring when she went out, so.
And he had her on her like they got a picture of, oh, I almost dropped my cup. They had a picture of him with his phone, and it said Jennifer Affleck on it as when she was calling him.
Beautiful.
Since the dawn of mankind, we've cooked our food over an open flame and debated the best way to grill. One thing not up for debate, grilling and beer always go together. And not just any beer will do. Whether you barbecue Texas style or celebrate Wednesday with burgers and dogs, you need a beer that tastes great and is less filling, so you have more room for food. You need Miller Lite. As you guys may or may not know, I'm a pretty decent cook, especially behind the barbecue. So when I start the fire from my smoker on a hot day, really, the only thing that I have to worry about is what wood I'm going to use. The easiest decision for me is what I'll be drinking. And that's a nice ice cold can of Miller Lite. Oh, and by the way, here's a pro tip. It really goes well with brisket. Miller Lite keeps it simple, undebatable quality, and tastes as great as your barbecue. A perfect companion for grill masters across America. With the Miller Lite in hand, grilling doesn't just taste great, it tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right at your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces.
Everyone is talking about magnesium. It's all you hear about. But why? What do we know about magnesium? Well, magnesium is the #1 mineral that 75% of Americans are deficient in. If you are a woman over 35, magnesium will help you rediscover balance, energy, and vitality. Magnesium supports more than 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including those involved in hormonal balance. From functional medicine doctors to mental well-being and female hormone experts, we all know that magnesium is the one mineral to improve all aspects of well-being and health. But which one? Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, the trusted choice recommended by leading experts with 7 best-absorbed forms of magnesium to ensure your body receives the support it needs for overall well-being. Go to bioptimizers.com/balance today and use code BALANCE10 for 10% off. Support your journey to wellness at bioptimizers.com/balance. Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, your foundation to optimal health and vitality.